Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. We have made it to a Friday show here. The Brewers have gotten the series win over the Toronto Blue Jays. Lots to get to here on the show as the Brewers are now going back out on the road. I'll talk about who's going to be starting here potentially on Friday night. And also we got to talk about how this series against the Blue Jays ended up going here because the Brewers bunted their way to victory in the seventh inning here of the rubber match against the Blue Jays. It was the most Brewers inning of all time. Garrett Mitchell draws a walk, and then you get sacrifice bunt, bunt for a base hit, safety squeeze bunt, and the Brewers end up taking a 2-1 lead. So you just went right down the line. You had Luis Matos, David Hamilton bunts for the base hit because of course he does. And then Joey Ortiz dropping down the successful squeeze bunt with runners on the corners. Absolutely what you love to see from him, from this team, because manufacturing runs has been hard for this group lately, as we all have really kind of noticed watching them over the past week or so. They've gotten 2 wins in the last 2 games. They have scored a grand total of 4 runs in those games. It has not been overly impressive from the offensive standpoint, but hey, they did enough. They did enough to win on Thursday. They did enough to win on Wednesday. That is all you need. You just got to get the win. That's what's important. You bunt your way there. You have the soft contact, the low exit velo, the not hitting the ball very far, nothing getting out of the infield. You have that, but hey, it worked. They still have some more work to do to get out of this funk that they're in offensively, as a team here. But you'll take the wins, you'll take the positive vibes where you can get them. You can start to feel a little bit better. It's like, okay, we can still do this, still a good team, that kind of stuff. And so you have the good vibes, and you have a happy flight down to Miami, which is, that's absolutely what you love to see. Especially given how tough this homestand started, how tough the last road trip ended. This was a crucial victory for them to be able to get the runs to come across. So it was all in support of Brandon Sproat, who was phenomenal actually in this game. 6 2/3, only allowed 1 walk, 1 run for him. Bounced back really, really well. We've seen him, his first couple of starts were not great. Then last time he comes out of the bullpen and ends up pitching pretty well for the final couple of innings. And now back in the rotation, seems to have gotten himself back on track a little bit here, showcasing some really nasty stuff, really being able to dominate the Blue Jays hitters, who, again, the Blue Jays have a very good lineup. They made it to Game 7 of the World Series last year for a reason. Very, very strong group. So for Sproat to hold them in check, even though they are missing some key players, they still have Vlad Guerrero Jr. in the middle of that lineup. They still got some really good guys. So great job by Sproat. Just to be able to get there. I would have liked to have seen him get through 7. Pat Murphy told us after the game that he told Sproat, hey, just giving you 2 batters here in the 7th inning. Wasn't going to give him a third. He got the first 2 guys out, and then he turned it over to Aaron Ashby again, because of course he did. Aaron Ashby has pitched 11 times in 18 games so far this season. 11 out of 18 games. Aaron Ashby ends up getting the win in this game, so he vultures another win. He is 5-0. He leads the major leagues in wins among pitchers in general, because starters haven't even made it to the 5th turn in the rotation. But he has 5 wins, and that ties a career high for him. On April 16th, it tied a career high for him in wins in a season. So Aaron Ashby is on a quest to win 20 wins out of the bullpen somehow. Will he get there? I don't know, but he certainly seems on pace with the way that he is going and how often he's pitching out of this Brewers bullpen. So he is going to try and keep that up. But then after Ashby was done, he only won a third of an inning in this one, thankfully. But then Pat Murphy turned it over to Trevor McGill for the 8th inning. And that has kind of been a big question. What is going to happen with Trevor McGill? When are we going to see him next? What role will that be in? He ends up getting the 8th inning spot, the setup spot, and the Brewers gave him the lead the half inning before, so it's a 1-run lead to protect. And Trevor McGill has a 1-2-3 8th inning pair of strikeouts. he looked far more like the Trevor McGill that we have been used to seeing over the past couple of seasons. So, Trevor McGill, naturally, gets a standing ovation walking off the mound. He'd been through a really tough past couple of games that he's been out there. Pat Murphy calling out the fans for booing him his last time out, saying, hey, look, you got to be there to support this guy. Has a clean inning, and he gets a ton of support from the home fans. So it's like, okay, hey, great. This is what we love to see. Everyone's kind of getting happy, feeling better. McGill seeing that confidence come back, having that success on the field. The fans are like, okay, yes, we're with you, McGill. Like you can get through this. Kind of seeing that good support, that good back and forth between the two sides. But then also that ovation kind of almost got overshadowed a little bit because of the shouting match going on the field. Now, it didn't erupt into a brawl or anything. It didn't erupt to a full benches clearing. But during that inning for Trevor McGill, there was some awkward moments where the Blue Jays thought he was, he had some sort of sticky stuff, he had some foreign substance on his pants because he kept rubbing the baseball on his pants or something. The Blue Jays were noticing it. They were calling him out, and the umpire had him change baseballs multiple times. Like he threw out there was a moment where he threw out a new baseball to him, and so it's like, okay, then he's getting ready to pitch again, and the Blue Jays are complaining some more, and the umpire has McGill throw away that baseball before even throwing it for a pitch and throws him a new one. So it's like, okay, what in the world is going on here? So McGill told us post-game that, that they were shouting that he had, something on his pants, that he was rubbing the baseballs there, and he shouted back at them that he didn't have anything on his pants, no pause. And the Blue Jays said back to him, F you. So they didn't believe him. So they exchanged their pleasantries. And of course, after McGill gets a strikeout to end the inning, you see Vlad Guerrero Jr., you see a couple of guys from the Blue Jays kind of shouting at McGill as he's heading off the mound. He's got that fiery emotion as he gets that strikeout, and he's kind of, just kind of, oh yeah, you're chatting at him, just kind of waving him off and just trying to go into the dugout. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays are trying to complain and shout back at McGill. So it was all in good fun and a day at the ballpark here. But still, I mean, good for McGill to be able to get that sort of success on the field, to kind of see one go through the hoop kind of thing, right? Like when you're in a slump, basically the way that he has, to see one go through. I think that was great for him, great for his confidence, and getting him back to the pitcher that he certainly can be. I'm not sure how soon, again, we'll see him in the closer's role, in the ninth inning role. Angel Serpa got the save situation here on Thursday, and he did well with that one, so that was good. So Serpa gets the save. Uribe got it the day before. So, okay, we're still kind of going with a closer by committee here, as Pat Murphy has talked about. Not going to be just one guy. But if McGill is able to string together a couple more outings like this one, where he goes 1, 2, 3 with a pair of strikeouts, that's going to look a lot more like we could see McGill back in that closer spot and earn more of those opportunities as we go along. Pat Murphy has told us he can earn it back. He can earn back that closer spot. But it's going to take some time, and he certainly seems to be on the way there. Hopefully he doesn't shout with anyone else on the opposing team. But you get the fiery emotion. You absolutely love to see it. And what you also are going to love to see is MLB debuts, which is what we could potentially be seeing here today. Now, Pat Murphy wouldn't make anything official for us, but it should be made official fairly soon. So my good friend Adam McCalvey of MLB.com was eagle-eyed and noticed that scheduled to pitch today, or scheduled to pitch on Thursday for the Nashville Sounds was Coleman Crow, and then suddenly Coleman Crow was scratched from the AAA game notes. He was scratched from the starting rotation. All of a sudden not pitching on Thursday. TBA for the Nashville Sounds is what it ended up being at the time. So think to yourself, the Brewers have a TBA on Friday. They did not move up Brandon Woodruff or the rest of the rotation. So Woodruff is remaining on schedule for Saturday. So you leave a TBA wide open for Friday when the Brewers need a starter. And your AAA starter for today gets, or for Thursday at the time there, your AAA starter gets scratched. you kind of connect the dots there, and it's looking like Coleman Crow is going to be your starting pitcher for Friday night's game here. Coleman Crow, really, really impressive in spring training. He can spin the ball with the best of them. I mean, he's had some, 3,100, 3,300 RPM pitches, in the minor leagues. He can rip off some curveballs with the best of them. I mean, the spin rates, the pitch metrics are off the charts with this dude. So I'm very excited to see what he can do. Coleman Crow this season for AAA Nashville. He's had 3 outings, has a 4.02 ERA in 15 2/3 innings, 18 strikeouts, 5 walks in that span. So yeah, the ERA, up there a little bit at 4. Now, granted, this is a small sample size, but also he has impressed the Brewers coaching staff, and they want to give him that opportunity. He is on the 40-man roster. That does make things a little bit easier. And just with how the schedule lined up, Logan Henderson went Wednesday night. He went the day before, so that takes him out of consideration for this spot. Robert Gasser was originally scheduled here for Friday night. So I was thinking maybe Gasser could be a possibility, but also he'd been dealing with that bicep issue, so they've kind of been managing him a little bit carefully. So that could be why we're not seeing Robert Gasser, and instead they chose to scratch Coleman Crow from the start on Thursday night. And in all likelihood, I think we're going to be seeing him here on Friday. So it could be him. Now, as for the corresponding move, because whether it's Coleman Crow or someone else, there's going to have to be room made for this pitcher, whoever it is that is coming up to join the group. Now, Kyle Harrison, his start has been pushed back, which is why this spot is open in the starting rotation. Maybe an IL, but that doesn't seem likely from what the Brewers have been talking about, but they also could just try and play it careful with him. So I think we got to keep that as at least a possibility, because Coleman Crow is not in the probables for this entire series. So it's not like he's just been pushed back a day or two. He's not in the probables for this series. So if he's not pitching in this one, could they do an IL stint? Potentially. But that's just kind of one name to keep in mind here. Also, I think you could be looking at potentially a Easton McGee option. That could be another route that they go, because Jake Woodford, if they want to send him out, he is out of minor league options. So they would have to DFA him to clear his spot in the bullpen. And the rest of the group, I mean, Grant Anderson, Angel Zerpa, McGill, Ashby, Uribe, not sending them down. DL Hall, I don't see going down. So Easton McGee probably would be your shuttle guy here, heading down after something like this. Or it could be, a Kyle Harrison IL thing. I don't think Brandon Sproat's going down, especially after he pitched 6 2/3 quality innings here. If Brandon Sproat kind of stunk it up here today or here on Thursday, if he just went like 3 innings and gave up like 5-6 runs or something like that, then maybe you could have seen Sproat go down. But given that he pitched well, I would imagine that he would stay on the big league club. So I think we're looking at potentially a Kyle Harrison IL stint or an Easton McGee option here in order to make room for Coleman Crow to come up to the big league roster. That's what it seems like it's tracking like, but the Brewers can surprise, as they have been known to do, as they have been wont to do, make surprise transactions. But these seem like the possible routes here that they could end up going. But it seems like we're going to get a Coleman Crow debut tonight, and I am absolutely looking forward to it. Be sure to watch Pitching Ninja on Twitter, because he's probably going to be very excited to see Coleman Crow make his debut here. And really, this entire Marlins series should be an absolute banger here in terms of these matchups. So the Brewers are going to be facing on the mound tonight for Miami Jansen Junk. That's right, former Brewers pitcher Jansen Junk, who they got in the Hunter Renfroe trade, if I recall correctly. So Junk, he's been able to find himself a foothold in the major leagues down there in Miami and get himself a regular spot in that rotation. 4.32 ERA on the season for Junk, but he gets to start here on Friday, likely against Coleman Crow. Again, not official at the moment, but should be soon. And then you have the battle of the veteran aces, Brandon Woodruff and Sandy Alcantara on Saturday. That is going to be a fun one as well. Alcantara pitching well again, 2.67 ERA. Really, really good pitcher. So him against Woodruff. I mean, those two guys have been around for a while. They know their stuff, and it's going to be an electric battle. And then on Sunday, for your dessert, for your weekend, end of the weekend viewing pleasure, you have the young, incredibly tall, gifted phenoms. Jacob Misiorowski against Yuri Perez. Misiorowski is 6'7", Yuri Perez 6'8". Perez is, I think, like 22 years old now, maybe 23. 23 years old now, 6'8", 220. And you got Jacob Misiorowski at 6'7", 200 maybe. And he's probably same age, 23 years old. So 24, just turned 24. So yeah, that is your young, incredibly tall, gifted pitching phenoms on Sunday. That is going to be an electric factory, that matchup. Incredibly excited for this series. The Brewers have been excited for this series. They had their Miami Vice theme for this road trip. So all the guys heading out of the ballpark on Thursday, heading to the airport, heading to Miami, they all had their Miami Vice get-up, dressing in, the pink shirts, the white pants, all your stuff, all your gear that looks like you're straight out of Miami Vice, the Panama hats, all that stuff. It was great. It was glorious. The guys were having fun with it as they were getting all dressed up and heading out to the plane. So you got to have some fun on these road trips. It's a long season. You got to be able to enjoy some things. And the fact that the Brewers were able to get 2 wins here at the end of this series made that plane trip and the theme trip a whole lot more enjoyable. I mean, if they weren't able to pull out wins here in the last 2 games, that would have been a really tough time to have that themed, fun road trip, because no one would have been having fun with the way that they had been losing. But you get back-to-back wins there. The vibes are picking back up once more. And hopefully that'll help the offense continue to pick up once more as well. As it does, whether it does or doesn't, we'll be talking about it here on Brewers Daily every single day throughout the week. So be sure to subscribe and get notified every single time a new episode drops here on Brewers Daily on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts there. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.